Hey guys, I'm Anna.
And I'm Brian.
And we are Those Annoying Vegans!
This is a different location.
Yes, these videos will be out of order. You will see 2 more videos that we shot at our old apartment after this one. But this one, we had to make it today because it happened today.
Yes, the YouTubes and other vegan social medias were abuzz. We're abuzz with Jon Venus's recent video proclaiming that he's no longer vegan. Kind of confused because I thought he was like already no longer vegan. Like,
yeah.
Did he make a video where he's like, I don't want to be called vegan?
He was
and then he's like, I ate eggs.
in that direction.
But then I think he lost like his vegan clientele or something, and then he's like, no, wait, I still am vegan, but I ate eggs one time and that was bad, but I'm still vegan, and now he's not vegan, I guess.
Why are we making this video? It's not with the intention of tearing people down. The reason we're making this video is because it is so important to continue to differentiate between vegan and plant-based. Because what happens is people say they are no longer vegan. That confuses the message of what veganism actually is. A lifestyle that seeks to exclude the exploitation of animals as far as is possible and practicable. Vegan for the animals.
You can only be vegan for the animals.
Any other benefits that we see when we go vegan are as a result of the fact that we are no longer exploiting animals, which we weren't supposed to be doing in the first place. Yes, our health benefits, the planet benefits, but the root of all those issues was animal exploitation.
You cannot be anti-slavery for the environment.
You can't be feminist for your health.
You can't be anti-child labor for the economy. These are ethics. These are ethical beliefs. These are living sentient beings. In all cases, whether the victim is a child or a woman or a person of color or a chicken, they are a sentient being and they deserve the right to not be murdered needlessly. So let's check out why Jon Venus has decided to return to needlessly murdering animals when he clearly doesn't have to. He seems like a perfectly fit, healthy, vibrant young man, been plant-based for many years. Let's see what he says.
I'm not here to judge you for doing whatever you feel is right for you, your family, and your community. I'm not here to tell you what is objectively right, what is wrong. And I'm not here to listen to your arguments and to your opinions either. I am just here to tell you guys my experiences, my shift in perspective, my new life choice. The best way to start this is talking about when this whole question mark started coming into my life. I think this is a good way to start. So 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, I became a dad, a father. And when you're...
I just want to say right off the bat, all of these, like, I'm no longer vegan videos, like Bonnie Rebecca's, for example, like, there's always a story. It's never like, hey, I just want to eat cheeseburgers. Like, people are never that brutally honest. They always have to set the scene. There's always a, well, here's the thing. Let me lay the groundwork.
And they usually have to do with someone else.
Yeah.
Someone else had an influence.
In this case, he became a dad. I mean, let's see where this goes.
I'm not going to speak for every parent out there, but for me especially, when I became a dad, and even before when we were pregnant, a lot of, responsibility came into my life. A lot of, difficult questions that I had to, answer, different kind of philosophical ideas that I had to think through. And I think we can all agree, or people who have looked into the scientific literature, we can agree that nutrition itself is a very confusing and not really understood topic. And it is, understood to a certain degree, but there are very many question marks. So you take a study and you use that study to come to a conclusion, but then another person with a whole another opinion will take that same exact study and come to the opposite conclusion to someone else. A lot of times when you're vegan, especially for me, you are in this bubble. You are in the mindset of, we are doing something that is ethical. We're doing this because it feels right in every single way.
Yes.
Well, yes, but why the thing about nutrition? He starts with nutrition.
Yeah.
Nutrition's complicated. Okay? What's that have to do with needlessly killing animals when you don't have to?
And this is my perspective, and because this is my perspective, we're only going to listen to other people with the same perspective that have the same mission to eliminate animal suffering, to live a plant-based lifestyle, a vegan diet, and so on. So,
not a diet.
Flip those around.
Plant-based diet. Veganism is not a diet.
Yeah.
It is a movement. The foods you eat are only a component of what veganism entails. Let's not forget the household products you use, what you wear, forms of entertainment.
it becomes almost like you have to only look for answers and research that comes from people that you know is going to support your bias. Anything outside of pro-vegan becomes the opposite, right? So there is no neutral point of view that you can get to with this mindset. It's either
we exploit animals needlessly or we don't.
I would argue that the neutral position is let's not do harm. And then if you're going to do harm, we have to justify it, right? So if I'm going to hurt another human being, then I have to have a justification. The baseline is let's not hurt another human being. Well, what if that other human being is currently stabbing you? Okay, then the scenario is a little bit different. That is the neutral position.
Yeah.
The neutral position is don't murder a pig if you don't have to.
vegan, pro-vegan, or it's anti-vegan and pro-meat eating and pro-murder and death and these things. And this is the mindset that is, I was in that mindset myself, so I know that is the dominant mindset for a lot of people. And I understand it. It's really, really challenging to be objective and try to disprove certain things and challenge your own beliefs constantly. And even if I thought I did that for a long time, I really didn't go as far as I should and as far as I needed to get the full picture. And now...
How long has he been vegan? Because I feel like for those of us who have had plenty of life experience not being vegan, we have explored those other philosophical or what have you thoughts. We've been there, we've seen the other side, we've experienced the other side, and now we've decided to make different choices because we realized that the alternative is not a good alternative.
I don't really know what all this word salad is here. He's being very fuzzy and fluffy with a lot of these words. Veganism is the moral baseline. Again, veganism is simply not doing any harm if you don't have to. That's not a particularly outrageous starting point.
Now, being a father, that is exactly what I feel the duty to do. And unfortunately, as we know, and as I've talked to you guys about in podcasts and different things, I have never claimed that the science proves that a vegan diet, a 100% vegan diet is the best for optimal health. But I truly believed it for the last 4 years. I think the last year I've been questioning a lot of things. But for the vast majority of the time that I was vegan, I really actually believed that it was optimal for human health because that is what we're being sold. Big organizations like the American Dietetics Association, all that mixed together makes...
That non-vegan organization you're talking about there?
Yeah.
The non-vegan Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics?
They're selling what?
Big Brussels sprout. You know, those big billboards you see on the freeway for corn? Not the band corn, by the way, just corn. Again, here he's flip-flopping back to nutrition. He's saying he's never claimed that the vegan diet is optimal for human health. Number one, what is a vegan diet, John? Like, no one has ever been able to tell us that. We asked them, what's a vegan diet? What does a vegan eat?
Just replace the word. What is a non-animal exploitation diet?
That phrase doesn't make any sense. If someone's vegan, you have no idea what they eat. You know what they don't eat, but you have no idea what they eat. And optimal for human health, veganism is not about health. Veganism is about ethics in the same way that feminism is about ethics. Anti-slavery is about ethics. Anti-child slavery is about ethics. These are...
Gender equality.
Yeah, that's about ethics.
LGBTQ.
This is an ethical lifestyle.
It's extremely easy to just believe 100% that you are doing the right thing. And I'm not saying that it's a wrong thing, but it makes it easy not to question it and look at the opposite or another different point of view.
Isn't that what we did when we went vegan? Is we questioned the opposite. We had a question our previous lifestyle and come to different conclusions. It's not necessarily something that comes easy to most people. It's not generally something that always happens overnight. It's sort of like compounds.
You're stripping away years of indoctrination. Why does the average person eat meat and dairy and eggs? Because they grew up doing it. So their parents did it, their grandparents did it. There's no reason.
They're looking into the Dietetics Association, corporate ties, all these, different corruptions that are going on.
I just want to say briefly, the corruption that's going on in this non-vegan organization. It's a non-vegan organization, the Academy of Nutrition and Dietetics.
And looking at the science for, children especially, because this is the reason why I started questioning everything.
And this is why none of this makes sense. He claims that there are conflicting studies, conflicting reports, there's corruption, and yet he is still choosing to go back to eating animals. The thing is, you could use that same argument for either side. He's saying, well, this and this is corrupt, this and this is inconclusive, so I'm going back to eating animals.
What the?
We're aware that there are conflicting studies, that you have to look into special interests and things like that. But that is why veganism isn't about health. You can be a healthy vegan or you can be an unhealthy vegan. You can be an unhealthy meat eater.
It's also strange because, again, Jon, super duper in shape, healthy guy.
Yeah.
He's like, there's health, I don't know about the health risks and the health. Dude, you're in great shape. What are you talking about? Are you having health issues?
We'll see. We still have 6 minutes to go. Let me also point out, didn't he show up at a vigil once?
Yes, Jon Venus came to a Los Angeles vigil and we were there and we met him.
What happened? What happened?
He looked into the eyes of suffering 6-month-old piglets and gave them water, their last drink of water, before they went into a slaughterhouse and were gassed to death and then had their throats slit open because people want to eat their ass meat. That's why. There's no other reason, and Jon witnessed it firsthand.
I guess he forgot.
There is extremely little science, and I am not convinced at all by the science that is used to support those claims. And I strongly believe that we cannot, say for certain that one thing, something like the vegan diet, 100% vegan diet is going to be optimal for kids. It may be optimal. I'm not saying that it's not. And we look up to so many vegan parents that are doing an amazing job raising vegan kids, and we respect them so much. We're all trying to come from a place of compassion and love and trying to make the world a better place. So I'm not saying, that this is a horrible and that I know that it's a dangerous thing. All I'm saying is that if I'm trying to be as objective as possible, this is not something that I, as a parent, as a father, am comfortable with doing.
I'm so confused by so many things. I have so many thoughts going through my head. I don't know where to start. So you are acknowledging that healthy vegan children exist.
Yes, and vegan parents are raising their children vegan properly or correctly or in a healthy way.
You mentioned love and compassion. Is there a loving and compassionate way to kill an animal who does not want to die? You are going to now be part of the majority of people who feed your children carcass. What are you going to tell them? Like, are you going to show them the videos, the footage? Are you going to inform them about what they are unknowingly contributing to now because of you?
Are you going to show your son pictures from the vigil you attended? I don't know. What do you plan on feeding your son that's not vegan? He doesn't need the breast milk from a cow. He needs the breast milk from his mom. He doesn't need to eat chicken periods. And he doesn't need to eat group 1 carcinogens or group 2A carcinogens.
But he claims that these studies are inconclusive, right? So group 1 carcinogens, if that were the case, if you are really conflicted, I would just err on the side of caution.
His brother's a vegan doctor too.
Is he vegan for the animals though?
His brother?
Uh-huh.
I assume so. If you're vegan, you can only be vegan for the animals. But Leo Venus, vegan doctor. If you're like, hey, how am I supposed to get my son insert nutrient here? You got your brother on the old iPhone? What could be more convenient? You have a vegan doctor in your family that you can just ask questions for free. You don't even need to go to the hospital and pay a copay.
Comfortable of dismissing, hundreds of thousands of years or even millions of years of a certain, eating pattern, and instead do something that requires supplementation to make possible, like B12, because again, I used to think that you could get B12 from the soil and water, and that there is no scientific evidence for that to be true.
Why would you think that you can get B12 from the soil and water? Who says that? Name a health professional that says that.
We used to be able to, but now everything is so sanitized. We scrub the dirt off of our potatoes. We drink potable water. We
use things like toilet paper.
Yeah, and he's appealing to tradition.
And nature. Millions of years of meat eating.
Millions of years.
Unnatural,
You know what else happens over the course, not millions of years, because we've only been around for thousands. You know what happens over the course of many thousands of years is we adapt. We went from being caves people and plains people, and many still are around the world, to living in houses with Wi-Fi. We've adapted.
Why, John, do you go to the gym and lift weights? That's completely unnatural. Your physique is very unnatural. Like, for thousands of years, human beings just did what they had to do to survive. They didn't go into air-conditioned buildings and lift plates of weights on bars. That's completely unnatural. The phone that you're using to record this video, completely unnatural. Like, do we have to honestly debunk unnatural, though? Or B12, though?
And it doesn't make sense for me to go with a new method, which I could call an experiment. I have had some question marks because of personal experiences, because of my real life observations, and nutrient deficiencies in people that are very, very close to me. And I don't want to give any personal information, so I'm not going to talk in detail about any of that. And I just don't want to be responsible or even seem like I am saying that this is the better way for kids to grow up. And if I don't feel comfortable with my kid being vegan, I cannot continue that lifestyle myself. Granted, I'll still,
You don't feel comfortable with your child doing something, therefore you can't do it yourself? Do you feel comfortable with your child driving your vehicle? If you don't, you shouldn't drive it yourself. Do you feel comfortable with your teenage son, like, going out after midnight? Because if not, maybe you shouldn't go out after midnight yourself. What is that argument? There are many things that I would not feel comfortable with my son doing that I can still do. And then when my son becomes an adult, he can make his own decisions. For a guy who is as big and strong as Jon is, that is weak.
I wonder what something must have, who knows, pressure from family, whoever these imaginary people are with deficiencies that he is not mentioning, of course.
Yes.
Because
we won't go into personal information. I have a plethora of personal information.
We don't want to hold anyone accountable for their claims.
I don't want to say anything on camera because then you might use it against me.
Do everything in my power to do what I feel is best with my moral compass for the environment, the planet, the animals, and all of that stuff. And I don't care if...
What's best for the animals is that you don't eat them. FYI.
Someone watching feels extremely offended because it's not about you, it's not about me. This is just, the reality of the situation regarding, real life as, a parent and the responsibilities that come along with being a human being who is caring for, children and who is really wanting to do what's best by their side. I was always, 100% certain that this was the healthiest diet for human beings.
I thought you said you weren't 100% certain.
Yeah, and again, veganism is not about health. I still would like to know what he has to feed his son.
It's a mystery. He's explaining without explaining.
Yeah. Children can't do this, and health and corruption, and don't want to get into it, but I do want to make a video that's going to get a ton of views, but I don't want to get into it.
Because I was coaching a lot of people, and I still will be coaching vegans and helping vegans to thrive.
Doubtful. I doubt many vegans are going to be returning for your services, Jon. Vegans. You might get some plant-based athletes to stick around, but vegans will not be sticking around.
But I'm always coaching people and helping them transform their health and lives and getting better from chronic disease and all kinds of issues.
And helping improve their fitness and body composition through a well-planned plant-based diet. Key phrasing, well-planned plant-based diet. Here's the thing, you've just gone through the first 7 minutes stating how you are not convinced that there is such a thing as a fully, what did you call it, 100% healthy or
optimum health diet,
plant-based diet, yet you are going to continue to coach those people who, I guess, want to believe that there is such a thing.
Even though you don't believe it.
Even though you don't believe it. So you are selling a product you don't believe in?
I only wish he could help his son improve his fitness and body composition through a well-planned plant-based diet, but that's impossible. What age does his son have to reach? And then this will now make sense. Like, do children need animal products until age 10, 15, 18? Like, how long do children need to eat animal corpses? It would be my question.
I just need to emphasize the fact that he wrote in words, well-planned plant-based diet.
Yeah.
So
wonder why he picked that phrasing.
So there is such a thing as a well-planned plant-based diet. Okay.
And that just fed and confirmed my belief that the vegan diet is the optimal, the healthiest diet ever, right? But of course, this is not a long-term study. This is a intervention, a short-term intervention by coaching and by switching up their nutrition and fitness routines, lifestyle factors that play a role as well. So, I cannot be certain of the long-term implications of the diets. Just because it works extremely well and helps reverse disease in the short term, it doesn't really translate into what happens and what the limitations are long-term. People have, friends have kind of divorced themselves from me and not wanting to have anything to do with me anymore. And this is people who I have or I thought were really good friends. And other friends, really very close friends, who said, that they respect my choice and everything like that, but they can't be seen with me publicly because that is bad for their image, because the vegan movement is so toxic and so judgmental. So
it is unclear as to whether these friends are vegan or not vegan, but something tells me that they might not be vegan. So
yeah,
he's losing friends, which, welcome to being vegan, happens to everybody. But that should not get in the way of animal liberation. Frankly, if I have friends who are embarrassed to be seen with me, who are blatantly disrespectful, who continue to send me pictures, things like that, I am happy to divorce myself. What was that about? This is not about you. This is not about us. Yeah. This is not about anyone else. This is about the animals. Guys, veganism is about the animals.
You have a strong ethical belief, and it conflicts with society at large, right? So society at large says, fuck them, they're cows, they're pigs, they're chickens, we can do whatever we want because we like the way they taste. Doesn't matter. You had a moment in your life where you saw that, you heard it, you looked at the situation, you even went to a vigil, and you saw these pigs on this truck, 6-month-old baby pigs, about to be murdered needlessly because people like bacon. And you said, hold on, this is wrong. I actually don't agree with this. And society said, no, it's fine. But you, in your heart, said, no, this is wrong. And I want it to end. And you made a choice, a very strong choice, a moral choice, to try to change other people's hearts and minds to think the same way. That's bold. That's strength. That's courage. That's standing up for a victim. That's being the voice of the voiceless. That's doing what is necessary. You have the knowledge. You have the responsibility. You have the power to change this system. And so you have a responsibility to do it. And now you're like, yeah, but my friends didn't like me as much. We're changing the world here, John. It's not easy. No one said it was easy. And it's also confusing too, because I couldn't quite tell if he was saying now that he's not vegan, vegans don't want to be seen with him, which would make sense because if a friend of ours who was vegan started killing pigs needlessly, I don't know that I'd want to hang out with them as much.
So, this is not an easy issue. And it's so sad that the vegan movement has so many people that are so judgmental and have such superiority complex. I'm not scared of getting flack for any of this. I've done this, several times in the past, and I just don't care.
You've done this several times?
Well, that's what I was wondering. It's like someone like him should be used to that kind of thing. I do have to say that I have seen the divide within the vegan community. I have seen that happening. And it happens mostly when it has to do with issues outside of veganism.
Yes.
So for some reason, a lot of vegans think that we must all think the same way as it pertains to other issues outside of
non-vegan related
animal liberation. Yeah. That is not the case. That is the only disheartening thing for me that I've noticed. But I try to keep the animal victims in focus. That's a challenge that we've been faced with, and we are sort of just clearing the brush, and focusing on the animals. But unpleasant vegans have nothing to do with veganism, which is the belief that animals should not be exploited.
Aren't there unpleasant meat eaters?
There are unpleasant everybody's.
Aren't there toxic people in every community?
Yeah, it's a veganism. The vegan community is like any other community made up of people.
I know, there's this weird idea that you're vegan, you're this way. It's like, no, I just think that we should treat pigs and cows and chickens the same way we treat dogs and cats. Mm-hmm. That's it. But apparently,
vegans also have to agree on whether we should all wear masks or not.
Yeah. So you voted for, hold on. I just think that we should treat cows and pigs and chickens the same way we treat cats and dogs. And end of sentence.
I'm just here sharing my opinions, and if people want to take my clips out of context and try to make me look like a fool, that's fine. It's been done so many times before, 100 times before.
By play his clip out of context, you mean play your video in its entirety and talk about it?
Or refer people to your video. You guys can watch it.
You can watch the full video. It's linked below, or this is the full video.
And that's okay. People can do whatever they want to support their own biases and to feel superior to me or to any other people who choose differently than them. That is up to everyone to do, but it's just not right. It's not a compassionate way of doing things. And it's not a way that reflects the core principles of veganism that got me attracted to the whole thing in the first place, of compassion and love and all these things. I'm still living the same life in terms of core principles still.
Yes, I agree. We must be compassionate and loving. But I have to say, I lose a little bit of compassion and love for people who just decide to start paying for animal torture again. You didn't have to do this. You have 381,000 subscribers that you are influencing right now. You have a big responsibility to the animals. That is disappointing.
Still the same mission, trying to spread positivity, compassion, love, and health to everyone who watches and follows along this channel. And I hope that you guys can stick around, because there's so many more things, and the journey has just begun. I mean, there's a lot more to come. And again, I'm not here to bash on the vegan diet, to say that it's unhealthy. I know so many people who are doing well, and I'm super proud for being able to step outside of the bubble and really dig deep and try to be as unbiased as possible, going into my experiment without any hopes or changes in mind, and hoping for something magical to happen and have placebo results happening, even though it is impossible to be 100% neutral to certain things and have no bias at all.
It's so funny to me that people claim to not want to be biased. Like, bias is such a bad thing. Is it a bad thing? I am biased towards not killing animals needlessly. Mm-hmm. I am biased towards racism being wrong. Mm-hmm. Injustice is bad. Yeah. Isn't that a bias? A bias is an inclination of temperament or outlook. That's all it is. An inclination of temperament or outlook. Bias is a personal and sometimes unreasoned judgment or prejudice. How is being vegan unreasonable or prejudiced?
Yeah, it's kind of the opposite of prejudice.
Yeah.
It's treating dogs the same as we treat pigs. It's
The action of supporting or opposing a particular person or thing in an unfair way because of allowing personal opinions to influence your judgment.
Yes. But I don't think it's a personal opinion of mine that animals need to be murdered in order to eat their flesh. Like, that's not an opinion.
Yeah.
That's a fact. It's not an opinion that animals feel pain. It's not an opinion that eating animal flesh is unnecessary. It's not an opinion that they suffer greatly because we treat them like products. Like, none of those are opinions. I would argue that the bias is actually on the animal product eating side, saying, well, I want to eat this product, so I'm just going to ignore all of this information that tugs at my heartstrings because I just want to keep eating this thing that I don't need to eat.
I tried my best.
I tried my best. That's when I would use Adam Carolla's slogan, don't do your best, do my best.
And I'm so proud for doing that and for taking responsibility for my family. I have no apologies to give to anyone. I think that this is a very, very good thing. And I think that you guys, are in for a very interesting journey ahead if you want to follow along.
In other words, please don't stop watching my channel.
Because, again, everything stays the same. We're still going to try to become the best versions of ourselves together. And for you guys who don't want to follow along anymore just because I'm not vegan anymore, that's okay. Peace out.
Peace out.
All right.
Peace to whom? So that is our take on Jon Venus's unfortunate change of heart. What do you guys think? Are we being too harsh? Or is it necessary to break down the meaning of veganism every time someone puts out one of these videos?
Yeah.
Just to continue clarifying the message.
So let us know what you thought about the video down in the comments below, guys. Give us a like and a subscribe and hit that bell. All that standard YouTube influencer stuff that people say at the end of their videos with fancy graphics illustrating how to do all that stuff.
Visit our Instagram and our Facebook page and our Etsy.
And a sincere, heartfelt thank you to all of our patrons on Patreon. You guys help us in our activism. All of the money that you donate every month goes to the animals.
Yes.
Helping animals every single month.
Thank you. You're helping us with these 3 beautiful hens that in the past week we've adopted 2 new special needs hens. So you are helping support their care. So all our funds from Patreon and Etsy go directly to helping animals. If you make purchases on Amazon, make sure to purchase using smile.amazon.com because that way Amazon will donate a portion of your purchase to your favorite animal charity. Well, to any charity, but let's choose an animal charity. And most specifically, Kindred Spirits Care Farm is on smile.amazon.com. So you guys know they hold a special place in our heart. They have taken every single one of our rescues from the vigils, and they just opened a second location. A bigger location, so they really need your support. Now there are emus, there's sheep and goats and pigs and hens and roosters. So yeah, this is a great way for you to make a donation without making a donation.
And just a reminder, probably the next 2 videos we put up are going to be a little bit of a time travel back. We shot 2 videos, had them in the can. We were in the middle of a move. That's why this is different. So we're going to rewind time and then we'll be back forward in time. This might change. We don't have very much on our walls.
The door looks really bright because I have to shut the door to the other room where the light is shining through.
We're
a lot of
backlit at the moment.
things to work out.
All sorts of YouTube mistakes we're making right now. But join us for the next video, and until then,
Bye.
Emmy hasn't been on camera in a while.
No, here's Booze.
Emmy boo.
Look at his belly. Oh, ning, ning, ning.
This is a perfect example. Like there are plenty of vegan YouTubers that I feel like people don't like their attitude. Like Freely the Banana Girl, or That Vegan Couple,
Or Vegan
Gains. You will never see a video like this from any one of them.
No.
Because they are vegan
For the animals.
which means they're vegan. You know, like, and Vegan Gains, big bodybuilder.
Yeah.
He's a big dude.
Yeah, I know a lot of
Fine.
people don't like him, but you know what? He's very smart. He's very smart. He's eloquent. We like his channel a lot. We watch him often. People who are unafraid to stand up for the animals, that is who we look up to. So just be careful, be aware of those influencers who are lifestyle vloggers and fitness gurus and whatnot who never mention the animals. Solely focusing on health and food and fitness and my life and my life and my life and me. Just keep that in mind. You might see one of these videos from them in the future.
You're worth it to